Good morning, welcome to the channel, and welcome back if you're already a subscriber. Now, as you can see from the little clip, it's pouring down with rain. You may be able to hear it on the roof. I think it's rained for about, as I said on the news, this was 17 days without stopping or something. Anyway, so I'm not going to be riding the bike this morning as I planned. Now, I don't know about you, but myself, I've always felt that motorcycle horns are useless. They're beep 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 beep. They're hopeless. I haven't seen a bike yet or heard a bike yet with a decent horn. Now, if you've watched my videos, I think just over a year ago, one of my most popular videos was about all the modifications I've done to this bike. If you haven't seen it, get back there and have a look. It's my best viewed video. Anyway, one of the things I had done at that point was change the horn to a Denali mini sound bomb, I think it was, which was a loud horn, but it had one problem which I never got to the bottom of. If the engine wasn't running, you just got a click, bleep bleep, like that, and with the engine running, fine. But sometimes, even once the engine had warmed up, it was on a slow tick over. If you were to stand still, it would just bleep bleep, just a click almost. So it was bugging me. In fact, at one of the MOTs, I heard the guy testing it, and I had to go in and tell him, start the engine and you'll be able to hear it. He passed it. But there was an instance a while back where I was sat at some traffic lights minding my own business, and the car in front, or the van in front, whatever, the reversing light came on. I pressed the horn thinking he was going to reverse. As it happened, they weren't. But I pressed the horn and I quickly had to raise the revs to make the horn sound. But at that point I decided to take it off, and I put the original horn back on. I know it's, I don't know, chances of winning the lottery or the chances of somebody doing that again, but I wasn't happy, so I took it off. There was a little adjuster nut on it on the sound bomb, and I tried it in all different settings for different resistances. I've got the full voltage in my battery and everything, 12.8 volts I think it was at the time. But anyway, recently we're back to the sports bike shop again. I noticed this. Now, this was less than a tenner. It's Oxford, so it's a well-known trusted brand. It's called the Oxford Foghorn. It claims to be 105 decibels, which is the same as the old one, the Denali. If these are 105, I reckon this must be about 10. I mean, I will do a before and after. I've got a little decibel meter on my phone, I think, so I'll do a before and after at the end of the video. So anyway, today's little job shouldn't take long. I'm going to fit this Denali. Here I go again. This Oxford. Let's open it up and see what we get in the box. So here we are. We've got a little mounting bracket, the new nut, and we've got, this looks very similar to it might be very slightly smaller actually. And there's the actual unit itself. It's the usual type. Now, the only thing I will say with this is, neither on the box nor in the box there is a little QR code there which I've scanned, thinking there might be some instructions. I know you really don't need instructions, but on one of the pictures on the blurb, it does show this pointing forward. Now, I've always understood that you should have that pointing downwards. If it's that way or that way, you're going to get water in there, which can't be right. But I'm going to mount it the way I had the Denali sound bomb, with that pointing downwards. That's a plastic, that's like an ABS plastic with a steel backing on it. Two terminals, and if I remember rightly, it doesn't matter which way round you put the terminals on these, or the original horn in fact. So let's get some tools out and crack on, shall we? Right, you can see the original horn there. I've got an extra piggyback on there for my USB charging point on the handlebars, which again I've discussed before. So It's just a 12mm bolt there. I've also got an extra earth wire. Anyway, let's stop rattling and just undo it and get it off. It's all a bit tight under here. Right. There we go. Right, there's my earth wire. There's a spacer I made. I'll leave that there. Disconnect the two wires off there. One, two. There we go. There's the old one off. I may decide to reuse that. I don't know yet. Anyway, let's have a look how the new one fits. Right, as we can see here, I have used the bracket that came with it. The only thing I've had to do is bend the two terminals into an upright position. I couldn't get my terminals on. They were fouling on that. I'm sure, but I am determined to have that pointing down. I don't want that filling up with water. So that's why I've mounted it like that. So right, let's get it reconnected and back on the bike. Right, let's get this thing mounted. I'm still going to use the little spacer I had originally. So, find the thread. Oh, forgot to put me. Whoops, lost the spacer. Forgot to put my earth for my. That little spacer back in, I think. Yeah, put my earth in for the USB connector. Right, 12mm. Let's wind that up. So I've left the nut on there slightly loose so I can rotate this if I need to, which I think I probably will. Probably just have to angle it a little bit to get the connectors to reach, because the original horn connectors weren't that long. The cable wasn't. Oh, there we are. I'll just nip that up now. So if I rotate that, that'll do. I'll get the connectors on there now. So right, let's just nip that up. There we are. And just nip the nut up, which is a 10mm on the back of the horn. There we go. So that's fitted. It's not pointing directly down, but it's not going to get any water in it there, put it that way. So now we'll do the connections. One there and one there. Right, let's see if it works. Right, let's give it a little test. So ignition on. So it shouldn't work now, it doesn't work. Ignition on. Fix tricks. Oh, while I remember, one other little test I need, because I'm taking a feed from a USB charge or USB point. Let's just get this plugged in here. I'll just make sure it hasn't interfered with that and it still charges my phone. So no ignition, no phone. Ignition on. Here we are. Yeah, still charging my phone. So I haven't messed up the USB. So turn that off. That should go off. Right. I think it's time for a. I did a decibel test before. I took the old one off. Let's do one with it on. Now, I did that decibel test just with an app on my phone. I haven't calibrated or anything like that. I'm not looking for accurate readings. I just wanted a comparison of the two horns. So with the old horn, I got a maximum of 83, as you could see on the film, and the new one peaked at 90 decibels. Now, it doesn't sound a lot, but I do know that the decibel scale isn't. It's a logarithmic scale. Now, I googled it, and these are the results of the Google. A 90 decibel sound is approximately 1.7 to 2 times as loud as an 83 decibel sound, and it carries 5 times more sound density. So that's got to be good, hasn't it? And because I'll just carry on, because the decibel scale is logarithmic, not linear, small increases in decibel represent large increases in sound intensity. So we can say it's twice as loud, and I think it's a bit deeper. So hopefully it will alert people. And as we've seen, it does work without the engine running, just with the ignition on. So I won't get myself in that position, sitting behind a lorry or a van or whatever. Reversing lights come on, I'm pressing all, nothing happens. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Denali one, but it didn't suit me. I think this Oxford one will. Only time will tell. So I think we'll call that a minor success. I will put a little bit of heat shrink, I think, around that piggyback terminal. Let's swing round, have a look from the front. It looks a little bit more discreet from the front, doesn't it? Probably from let's get the light down a bit. Yeah, so I think all in all, call that a success. Right, I think we can call that a wet morning's work. Well done. I will just pop a little bit of heat shrink on that terminal, just to tidy it up a little bit. But I've now not got to worry about not having a loud horn, and one that works with on the engine ticker, or even without the engine running. So I'll say goodbye for now, but first of all, if I can remind you to click like and subscribe, if you wouldn't mind. It's very much appreciated. It does help the channel, does help me to see what's being watched and what isn't. And I'll say goodbye and see you in the next one.